Good evening, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Hilo, Hawaii, or Hilo, Hawaii. Parked on runway 26 here, awaiting departure to do a flight out to the west, fly over the observatory, climb up to about 35,000, maybe all the way up to 75,000 or 80,000 feet. We'll see how much time I really want to put into this and discuss it. And then come back in for landing. We're going to discuss some of the flight characteristics of the Eurofighter. Now, keep in mind, I did use the offsets within the customization menu for the Eurofighter. I added in an extra 2 degrees of deflection to get it closer to what it looks like it should fly like in real life. With my test bed set up for this, I'm using a AMD 5900X paired up with a GTX 1080 GPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, about 3200 megahertz for the RAM speed, no overclock on the 5900X. And for my testing setup, I'm using my Honeycomb Aeronautical Alpha Yoke and my Honeycomb Aeronautical Bravo Throttle Quadrant. They are the best things that are out there right now, consumer grade for any flight simulation purposes, and I strongly recommend that if you can find them, get them, because they're going to far outweigh and excel beyond that of what Logitech is making right now from what they purchased from Saitek years ago. And then for rudder pedals, I am still using my old Saitek Cessna rudder pedals. So with the kit that I'm using to do this quick take review, which is what this will be, we will discuss and fly the Eurofighter 2000 from Bredock 3D. We're going to talk about, first off, price, requirements of your PC. Can you start it up cold and dark? Is the cockpit usable? What kind of realism factor do we have here? Or is it just a fun add-on? And do you guys want a more in-depth review than what I'm about to give you here? Let me know in the comments section below. So starting off, this is a $20 add-on for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Is it worth $20? Exterior model-wise, it looks pretty good. Interior model-wise, it looks okay. You know, we have some paint coming in from the outside model on the left, well, just mostly on the right. The textures inside are okay. Basic time, like in all honesty, this looks almost like a cut and paste out of FSX kind of style thing, where there are some things that look really nice and other things that just look, okay. The mirrors are not reflective, and overall textures are so-so. Exterior model, like a lot of things, exterior models can look great regardless. And this one does. The 3D model on this aircraft looks really nice. It is nice to look at. There's some nice liveries for it, or liveries. And, you know, the paint schemes, liveries all look good. I like several of them. There are a couple weird anomalies on the outside that you can find if you go slow enough on the pan, looking left and right. Yeah, but overall, it looks pretty nice. Does this looking good warrant $20? Maybe not. I would suggest a little bit lower of a price tag. If you can find it on sale, it might be worth an add-on to your flight sim wants and needs at that point. But you know, it's at least fun to fly for the most part. Can you perform air show maneuvers with ease? Not really. But let's price-wise, it could be cheaper, I would say. Comparable add-ons. For the price, really nothing right now out there. I just saw that there's an A4 Skyhawk added in, and it looks like trash overall, and I've looked at a couple of reviews, and I don't even want to bother with it. The other thing that's closest would be the F-15 from Just Flight, and I feel like that's an unfair comparison because Just Flight did a lot more work for their overall model and coding for their F-15. Requirements: if you can run Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 on medium settings, you'll probably be able to run this without too many issues. Cold and dark, yep, you can start this up cold and dark. However, I've already been flying around to refamiliarize myself with the latest Sim Update 5 for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and that's kind of one of the reasons why this video has been waiting for now, because I want to see if some of the flight dynamics has improved across the board, and I think it's just mainly the coding for the Eurofighter where it's still lacking. But yes, cold and dark, you can do that. Usable cockpit, well, you can see here that we have a HUD. The HUD does its job, gives us pretty much every bit of information that we want. And then coming down, we have a GTN 650 or 750. It works, does a pretty good job. We have our autopilot, or at least enunciators over here. We have some other autopilot features here, autopilot features between the GTN 650, 750 and the PFD. We have an MFD on the left and right that both are pretty usable. However, that checklist at full zoom is fun to try to use. System page, pretty bare minimums. Let me just say that again. Bare minimums. Same on this side. It's all the same stuff. So don't expect a lot from this add-on. PFD and the standby all show what you would expect. No big surprise there. Left side, you got your FMS, FMC, you've got your parking brake, you've got your gear lever, you got your flaps, and everything pretty much works. Speed brake is animated as well, albeit extremely slow, but it's there. You've got your throttle on the left-hand side, you've got your cutouts, you've got some guarded switches that do absolutely nothing, and a few other switches here and there. Push button and turn to release. Now, I'd like to release and get a better Eurofighter, but I can't do that. Electric power, you do have switches over here. However, I've tied everything on to my Honeycomb Aeronautical Alpha, which works so much better than trying to come down here and find everything. You've got your source generator reset, you've got your aux pump, your fuel, your engine start, engine controls, lights, ice system, you've got your VHF frequencies and everything you can set up over here. And then hidden behind the yoke, a bunch of other stuff that does absolutely nothing or a few things. So not a whole lot here to be a fighter. Just consider this more of an interceptor than an actual air combat fighter. So usable cockpit, it's there just for the purposes of being there and helping the aircraft fly. I'm going to drop the parking brake, but I'll hold the toe brakes. Realism or fun factor? Well, as you can tell from what I've said so far, I'm going to say this is more of a fun factor aircraft. I'm going to prove that here in the air just shortly. I've been doing a little bit of flying before I started this recording, and I'll demonstrate a few things once we get in the air. Fuel is at about 11%. This is going to be more than enough for the flight, and this will be another thing to drive home the fun factor point of this aircraft. And if we're talking about some way to compare this, if you've ever used Ace Combat on the PlayStation, Xbox, or even your PC, this is kind of where this aircraft falls. It's fun, it's meant to go fast, not be last, and look like the Eurofighter. That's about where a lot of it stops. Do you guys want more in-depth review? I can try to give that to you, but I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. Would I recommend buying the Eurofighter? I only recommend buying the Eurofighter if you just want something to add into Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 to go fast, not be last, and just have some basic fun with, which I'm going to demonstrate here shortly. So, exterior model looks nice. Cockpit could use some freshening up on some of the textures, some better buttons, usable MFDs, PFD, better autopilot integration, and you guys can get rid of the GTN 650, 750 and just let's get a better FMS system to work with in here. Or just get rid of this and make it just super simple, because if the goal is fun factor, this is unnecessary, the FMS, FMC, and just use the Garmin, because it'll allow people to jump right in and fly. Unless you guys are going to come out with a study level aircraft, which it doesn't look like you are. But fun, it can be fun. There are some extremely annoying issues with this aircraft, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. But wrapping it all up, and you guys can stay tuned and keep watching for the flight here, which is going to kick off in about 30 seconds. But I would recommend, if it's on sale for maybe $10 to $15, this might be a nice add-on. Otherwise, just wait for better add-ons to come out for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So, Joe from NDB Aviation. If you like this, like and subscribe, leave your comments below, likes, hates, dislikes. But if you want to stick around, let's go for a flight, and you can hear me talk more about what I like and dislike about the Eurofighter 2000. Okay, everybody's gone? Well, now I'm just talking to myself. For the one person that may be still there, hey, how you doing? You having a good night? You ready to go fly? Let's go look at a beautiful observatory out there in Hawaii. So everything's set for takeoff. Flaps are set. We've got the trim. Let's bring this back up, or back down. is another annoyance, is it takes forever to trim this aircraft. Let's get their local pressure setting in. Oh, 2992. Oh no, it paused. It paused again. So let's see if my audio still syncs up with the actual simulator. Hopefully it does. There we go. Local altimeter settings set. We're going to be taking off going westbound. So just to give us an idea of turning back, the heading that we're at, I do like how the Bravo throttle quadrant actually spins faster when I want it to spin faster. All right, there we go. We've got our heading bug set for runway heading. I like that. And who's ready to go flying? I am. Let's get off this ground. Let's get off terra firma and roll. All right, accelerating nice and fast. You know, that seems about realistic for the Eurofighter. Gear up, flaps up, and oh my goodness, we're accelerating stupid fast here. So let's take a look here. I'm at idle. Let's give it like 10 seconds. Let's try to trim it out. We're just off the ground. And I've got my throttles back to idle. And we're holding pretty steady here at 300 knots. We're actually climbing and holding pretty well at 300. So there's definitely a drag issue with this model and an issue with the engines overperforming. So first off, it's fun. Yeah, you know, we can glide around. 10% fuel. We should have already been pushing a lot more out of the back of the aircraft, recycling some dynos. And let's roll some afterburner in. Let's go over to our observatory just out this way into the sunset. And this is where things start to get a little fun and tricky. As we accelerate, we all know that G-forces are going to be stronger on the aircraft and on the pilot the faster we go this close to sea level and even up at altitude in a sense. But being this low and this fast, we don't want to make any sudden maneuvers because we will overstress the aircraft. And unfortunately, we don't have Chuck Yeager to stare at us on this version of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. That'd be cool if they did. But as you can see, we are literally hauling butt. And let's try to use this. Let's see, Mach 1.8 and increasing in speed. Ooh, there's terra firma right ahead. Let's get through this. And then what I'm going to do is, once we get up to the top here, I'm going to pull speed brakes. And we will circle the observatory. Here we go. Over Mach 1.5. Dump the brakes. Slow the bird. Let's get around 400, 450 knots. We're going to pull a hard left turn. Aggressive maneuver around the observatory, show the turning radius. We're going to start right after the observatory goes off of our left wing. There's the observatory. Let's throw in some afterburner, crank hard, a little bit of right rudder, and let's pull this baby full. Try to keep the speed right around 400, 500 knots. And, you know, overall, she's got a pretty good turning radius. The only thing I don't like is I can't get to the high angle of attack maneuvers where you just whip the aircraft around. That's something I wish we had in this model. It'd be a little bit more fun to do that. It would look a lot nicer. But we had to settle with what we have here. So let's bring the nose down. Let's take it up to Mach 1.5 or 1.8 again, and let's go vertical. Let's see what the altitude is we can get to. And if we have any accidents, crashes, that'll just be our little fun mistake, as a certain painter would say. So here we go, Mach 1.5, Mach 1.6 coming up. Thanks for sticking with me so far, folks. If you've been with me this far, tell me what speed you see in the Mach window here in the comments section below. All right, when we get Mach 0.2, we'll go vertical. And what we're going to do to go vertical is we're going to let the aircraft naturally pitch up to the horizon using trim and just the power, the excess thrust, to bring the bird up to a vertical state. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's close enough. And I'm just going to let go of the yoke. Pitch plus power equals performance. And if we have excess power, the aircraft is going to want to climb. So I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting any trim inputs in. I'm not using the yoke whatsoever. And here we come. We're starting to slow. I'm just going to let it go. Let's see where we end up before she stalls. Now, I could pitch the nose over now, and I think we could probably get her up to at least 80,000 feet. But I'm interested just to let it go. And let's see if we can find some satellites. I see stars coming into view. I see terra firma below. There's the sun. There's the moon. All right, there's 75,000 feet. And with all this time with the afterburner in, look at that fuel. Man, you know, if the Eurofighter sipped that little fuel in real life, it would be the supreme air superiority fighter if it actually maneuvered as well as it does in real life and had that fuel burn. Everybody would be buying it. So here we go. We're coming through an 80. Let's just stall her out. Let's just stall it out. Let's get 90. Can we get 90,000? 90,000? Nope. I was too aggressive on the pitch. 87,000. Let's roll her down. She's going to be a little twitchy up here. Not too bad. And let's start bringing that nose around. Nice and gentle. We'll use gravity to do its natural thing. And let's come back to the airport and do a touch and go. I feel like you guys, if you're still with me now, you've been around for quite a while. All right, once we get about 300 knots on the wing, maybe more, we'll actually have some control of the bird again. There we go. Looking at our angle of attack indicator, we have efficiency coming back. But yeah, having to do the increase in the aircraft customization page to bring the bird back to what it could do, similar to what it is in real life, is a must to make this more flyable. All right, so I'm gonna put the burner back in, and this time I'm gonna trim. We're gonna head back to Hilo, or Hilo. I feel bad, I should have really studied how to say that before I took off. And let's see here. Like I've said earlier, it looks pretty. Like I like the way the Eurofighter looks, especially with some of these paint schemes. The liveries look really nice. But I can't get over the overall aerodynamic issues. The fuel burn is crazy. And just the overall performance. I wish the pitch attitude would react faster and more like you see it in real life. I wish, a lot of things for this add-on, but I'm not going to get them. And the last few things that are annoying to me, I'm going to demonstrate here in just a minute. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you're still watching, let's see in the comments section below, can you put down our altitude and our Mach speed now? Going nice and fast. So this is one of the things I do like about it. If you just want to fly around and have fun, it is fast. It's going to be a fun time somewhat. But just don't pull any sudden maneuvers because you're going to be very, very unhappy. Now to get us back down to altitudes that are more usable for running a traffic pattern, I'm just going to use the pitch trim and instead of using the yoke. Because we're going over Mach 2, let's not overstress the aircraft and find ourselves starting this all over again. It does look good, doesn't it? That's one thing I love about 3D models and these new flight simulators is that all the aircraft look really nice. Oh, over G. Over speed. They look beautiful. I just like the way this looks. Do I like the way it flies? No. And let's see, how close are we to over G-ing this thing? I don't know what just got in my face there. That's interesting. Oh, me. That's new. I don't remember seeing that last time. My avatar died. That's what it is. He's hunched over on the controls. Alright, so let's get under this cloud deck. Let's request special VFR from Hilo Tower. Hilo Tower, Eurofighter, yakety smackety, requesting special VFR and a landing on 26. And we're frozen again. Oh, it's coming back. It's thinking. Man, I just love the cinematic pauses that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 does nowadays. It allows you to really enjoy the scenery that's around you. Take it all in. Enjoy the beauty of nature. Now we're still a little too fast to crank a high G maneuver. There's the airport over there. And I think we're gonna buzz the tower. You with me, Goose? You ready to buzz the tower? This is just a video game. Or it's meant to be a flight simulator, but it feels more like a video game right now. Let's buzz the tower, break off, and then pull a landing. I think tower buzzes are best done at a speed where they can at least see your registration number. So let's pull that speed brake. Let's keep the engines at idle. Now, if there was a bridge around here, I'd pull a Lunken and go underneath it, but I don't see a bridge anywhere nearby. Retrimming with my Bravo Throttle Quadrant trim wheel, which is so much nicer to have versus my old Saitek, now Logitech autopilot panel, which had the tiny, tiny trim on it. And as you can see, let's try to zero out the VSI. We really aren't slowing down. Ooh, there's the tower. Let's roll, lose some altitude. Hilo Tower, Eurofighter, yakety smackety, coming around for a tower buzz. Negative, pattern full. Ooh, sorry. There we go. Now, since we have excess thrust, even though we're at idle, we'll come up into pattern altitude. There's 250 knots, gear extension coming out, flaps coming out, full flaps. And here's the next fun thing I'm going to show you. Now, we were almost in level flight, almost trimmed out for level flight, and the aircraft did not want to slow down. Now, let's keep trimming. Let's trim away the pitch forces on the yoke. And let's try to get this nice and trimmed out. So, I would expect in real life, at idle, gear down, flaps out, this aircraft would want to sink and slow extremely fast, but it doesn't in the sim. Let's come around, let's come to a heading of 260. Let's go back outside. Now I only have 22% power in, and with all that time running the afterburners, we still have 5% fuel left with a starting fuel of 11%. This is only on the center tanks, because I didn't want to disrupt the CG. Now, coming back full idle, let's set up for a nice landing. Or at least what I'd hope to be. Oh my goodness, we're sinking how fast? And we're not slowing at all. So let's go speed brake. Speed brake's out. Let's get on to the Pappy. And here comes the next fun part about the Eurofighter. You gotta land with the speed brake out. Here we go. Back on the Pappy. Not exactly the most stable approach I've ever done. But here we are. About 120 knots is too slow. But it's close. And let's get her. Oh, she's still gonna float, which is another thing I want to demonstrate. Here we are. Idle, ground effect, and she'll just float for quite some time. Notice we had to use the speed brake to get us slowed, even though we had full flaps and gear out. Let's toss out the reversers. Come to a complete stop. And let's stop the madness there. All these reasons are reasons why I'd like to see this updated. I don't think it will be updated anytime soon. And if you want to buy it when it's on sale. I would not recommend this being a big purchase that you're expecting a lot out of. So Joe from NDB Aviation, thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments and likes, dislikes below. Tell me what you guys would want to see, and see you again real soon. Bye-bye.